Alright, in previous videos we've talked about two other types of income, which is kind of the most common type, and that is wages and salaries. But two more we're going to look at in this video are the ideas of piecework and commission. Now, piecework is just simply work that you do and you get paid for every piece of work that you complete. Piece of work, piecework. Okay, so when you're doing piecework, I guess there's an incentive to work hard so that you get paid, because it's not like you're working every hour and you think, well, I'll drag this out, I'll get paid more. You want to get it done because you're not going to get paid until you finish. So there's an incentive to work hard, but then the flip side of that is that maybe that can lead to rushed or poor quality work because you're trying to get as many pieces done as you can. Some examples of piecework can include maybe cleaners who get paid every room they clean in a resort, contractors, so you might pay a builder to come and build a deck for you, and you just pay a flat amount for the job and for it to be done. Artists who maybe get paid for every piece of art they make, or jewelers, that kind of thing. So here are some examples. The maths is actually pretty easy. A seamstress, so that's someone who makes clothes, earns $5.50 for each shirt that she sews. How much will she earn for 95 shirts? Now, in your head you might think, oh, that's real easy. I just multiply the 550 and the 95, which is what you do. But if you remember back to our previous video, we had this little triangle where we can use to help work things out, and you just cover over the one you're trying to calculate, and what's your left is your calculation. So let's see if it works for this. But instead of hours, we're getting paid per job. So we just switch out the hours for jobs because we're getting paid per job instead of paid per hour. So we want to know the pay in this case. Put my hand over the pay here, and you can see what's left is jobs times the rate. So there were 95 jobs. The rate was 550, multiply them together, and I get 522.5, but in currency, I put two decimal places, she earns $522.50. All right, like I said, the math isn't too hard on this, but you might have to work out one of the other things, the job or the rate. In this case, a plumber is charging $125 for each toilet installed in a high-rise building. If his total income is $4,625, how many toilets were installed? So in this case, I'm wanting to work out the number of jobs that he did. Okay, I'm trying to work out how many toilets, so and how many pieces of work he did. So I'm going to put my hand over the jobs, and that leaves me with pay over rate. So his pay was 4,625, the rate was 125. It works out that he installed 37 toilets. That, in a nutshell, is piecework. But another type of income that people can often earn a living from is commission. And a commission is just an income. Sorry, your income is a percentage of the value of the things that you sell. So most commonly it's salespeople. Once again, motivates them to work hard because they're not going to get paid until they make the sale. But then one of the downsides is it can be inconsistent. You might have a slow week with not many sales, or you might have a busy week. So it's hard to do any budgeting. So here's an example, a simple example, and then we'll look at a more complicated one. Boris sells a car for $65,000 and he earns 2% commission. How much did he get for making the sale? So he makes his living off selling cars, and he gets a little cut of every one that he sells. He gets a 2% cut, or a 2% commission. Always, 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 always. First of all, before we do anything with percentages, we just convert them to a decimal. And we do that by dividing it by 100. So if you see anything with a percentage sign like this, we're not going to use that number. We're going to divide that number by 100, and that is the number we're going to use. So in this case, 0.02. So to work out 2% of this amount, I just multiply them together. Now, going back to our little triangle here, where we had the pay, hours, and rate. Remember that when we did piecework, instead of hours, we replaced it with jobs. Well, in this case, instead of we're getting paid per job, we're getting paid per sale. So that you can use this exact same triangle, just depending on whether you're doing, if it was wages, you're going to be doing hours. If it was piecework, you'll be doing the number of jobs. And if it's commissions, you'll be doing the number of sales, because you're getting paid per one of those things. In this case, we're going to use the sale. So we're going to put our hand over the pay, and our commission is the sale amount times the rate. There's the sale amount, there's the rate. Multiply them together to get Boris's commission of $1,300. All right, not too complicated, but let's look at one more as we finish up that has a little bit more of a twist to it. Shuri earns a retainer of $400 a week and commission of 5% on sales above $6,000. So how much would she earn in a week if she sells? Well, they were 2 weeks. So that was, say, question A was the first week. question B was the second week. So there's an important word in here I just want to explain. It's this word retainer. A retainer is an amount you get paid regardless of whether or not you make any sales. So if you have a quiet week and you don't make any sales or not enough sales, you're still going to get your retainer. In this case, Cherie is getting $400 a retainer. So in week A, let's have a look. She sells $5,800 worth of product, but the target before she could start earning commission was $6,000. So she's not going to get any commission. Does she get any pay for the week? Absolutely. She still gets her $400 retainer. Okay, she gets no commission because her sales didn't meet the target, but she gets her $400 retainer regardless. But in week B, she has a really busy week and she sells $9,200 worth. So she gets commission only on the bit above her target, only on the bit above 6,000. So we have to work out what that is. Well, we take the 6,000 away from the 9,200. She went over her target by 3,200. That's the amount she's going to get commission on. All right, so I'm going to put her, in this case, we're going to put our hand over her pay, and we're going to work out a sale times her rate. So her sales times her rate. Well, her sales were 3,200 because that's the only bit she's getting commission on, and the rate was 5%. Once again, remember, we convert that to a decimal, so that will be 0.05. That's the number that we use for this rate here. So her sales were 3,200, her rate was 5%, written as a decimal. Put that together, I get $160 commission when I multiply them. Now, don't forget she still gets her retainer. So for her week, she earned $560. That is Piecework and Commission. Hope it all made sense to you guys. Good job, well done.